All right. So, social media and podcast. How many of you, just a show of hands, are already doing it in some form? Okay. Is it successful for you? To some degree, it's successful, right? And we found pathways that work for us. What I'm going to share today is something that's worked for us, and it's helped us to be efficient with the time that we put into the social media part of being communicative to our culture, right? Let me go to this first slide and make sure that my mouse is actually going to work here. Okay, so the goal is to be more social, right? That is our goal, is we want to be social, we want to be interactive, we want to connect, and we want the community to feel involved in what we're doing. So you have all these different platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's not really Twitter anymore, it's X. How do you navigate through all those different platforms but make a cohesive approach to be able to communicate with the end user in a way that feels authentic and natural and not forced? Because once Facebook came into existence, it was almost as if we're not communicating directly. It's the fake side of what we're doing. And sometimes we got to break through that and make it real. So my goal is to share with you just some ways that these are just tools, right? But we want to be able to capture authentic pictures and videos and storytelling, but you want to be able to relate with your end user. So what we've noticed in our pathway of being able to get all these communications to have one voice, business suite through Meta, which is Facebook. Do you guys, anybody use that right now? Okay. And when you're using that, do you take advantage of some of these tools as you're doing that? Because it helps you to be able to see how well you're communicating, because you can test it. Different ways, you can actually post through the Meta Business Suite, and it'll actually simultaneously put it onto Instagram. But when you're dealing with two platforms, sometimes you have to make sure you customize so that the other platform that you're posting to, you might be posting to Facebook. Instagram has a little bit different parameters. It has to actually show well on that site too as well. What ends up happening when you're doing multiple platforms, you're taking all that time to be able to recreate something that you already created. So this is very helpful to be able to push it. And what I mean by that is you have your Instagram tied to your Facebook, and then also you can create groups within there. So what you're doing is you're sending out, you're hitting two platforms at once, you're customizing Instagram, but you've already proofed in Facebook. That's the key, is cohesiveness and clarity across all platforms is what you want to try to achieve. You also have the ability to add in collaborators. So let's take, for instance, if you're posting something and you're partnering with an organization or a community partner that you have, you want to be able to put them in as a collaborator. You have to invite them into the Facebook post that you're doing. They'll accept it, and then you get that cross-platform traffic. And that's the key to ramping up some of the visibility to some of your posts. I mean, we're all doing it, but we don't want to toil in it. We don't want to waste time. We want it to be as efficient and as effective as possible. So add in your collaborators. That's one of the key things. That ties into being able to, you have to put your links in there. Do you guys do that already? So at so-and-so, find them, add them in. Then what happens with that is you're able to post your post, but then it also shows up on their post. So you're getting cross-platform multiplication across two different, who they know and who likes their page, who's on your page, and who likes your page. So you're getting a lot of visibility to one post. The more you put that in, that's a better way to approach it.
Just an example of that.
Yeah.
Like, if we have a business that gives a donation,
Yep.
right, we'll make sure we tie to them
Yep.
with the check presentation or whatever, right? And make sure that it goes across all
So
platforms.
say the picture is in the post, check presentation for a certain amount, and it's with one of your community partners, you know, whether it's a company or a church or whoever. They're in the picture. You've already gotten approval. That's the key, is you want to make sure you get their approval ahead of time. And then you put in whatever Facebook they have, you put that into your post so that you get that cross-platform multiplication. And then you get more visibility to one post. It's doing work for you. The other thing that you can do through this platform, and this is all speaking through the business suite, you can do A/B testing. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done that. A/B testing is just drilling down a little bit deeper. You can do one post, but you could do it a couple different ways. So you could do it 2 ways, send the same post, slightly change maybe your phrasing in one of them, track it, and what it allows you to do is it lets you see how the community is reacting to the post. If you get better visibility to A, and then you can start to cater some of your next posts that direction and tailor off on the other direction. Any questions here in this business meta suite? Pretty much most of you guys said you use it already, right? To what extent is what I wanted to try to find out is how far are we digging in to utilize some of these tool sets that we have. You have a live dashboard. You have all your ads in one place so you can see what you posted. You can plan ahead, so scheduling. Maggie's here, which is our media specialist. So we try to get ahead of things. I know media gets out of control, and sometimes we feel like we're always behind the gun on a post, or we're like rushing to do one real time. It's nice to be able to have some in the queue scheduled in your media plan. And then you have the ability to see all the content in one place as well. So, next step. When is it best to boost? We all want to do it. We all want to create a bigger radius, a bigger capture for some of our posts, right? The thing is, it's great to boost, but we need to talk about it because you can throw a lot of money at it and get a little bit of response. The key to doing good boost is make sure that you find out who you're sending to. So you want to specify who you're actually sending to. Do you want to just keep it as people that you're choosing to target? Do you want to actually post to their page? Or is it people and the people that are similar to those people? You can use these different ones here. You can tailor your own target radius. A lot of times, what's nice is you have an advantage audience. Facebook will pick based off of the way you have your page set up and who's already linked to your page and friends of your page. They'll tailor your audience. Then all you have to worry about is how big of a radius you want to hit and how much money you want to spend, meaning duration, right? So typically what works for us, and this could change, it's different, it's regional. So it's saturation's different in different areas. What works for us, and we are in Huntsville, what's the population of Huntsville right now? Yeah. So it's growing, and so we have a very saturated radius. So it works well for us to do small little 7-day runs of a boost, and typically you want to end up around 2K to 6K. So saturation-wise, who's actually seeing that and for how long? That usually runs about $100 a post, give or take. If we're coming up to an event, we definitely want to do a lot of boosts. If you just want more organic feel, I wouldn't waste the time as far as the money. You definitely just do your posts the way you're doing them, but make sure you do enough of them. See, there's a happy mix with social media, and it's ever changing. Back when social media really started getting big, they were saying you need to at least be doing a post a day. Now we're up to like 2 or 3 posts a day. I am of the belief that that's fatigue. And so we don't use that practice. We do about 1 post a day still, because it's nice to have something in front of you. When you start seeing too much of it, your mind shuts off. So that's kind of where we are. Let's see, so we got saturation, moderate spend, decent visibility. That's that. Go ahead.
Can I play the dummy in the room?
Oh,
And
nothing's,
the guy?
questions are the answers.
Yeah, and the old guy. I got blocked from Facebook.
Okay.
Thank you, Jesus, they did me a favor. I don't want to be on it anyway, let's say. But of all the things out there, and I'd be foolish not to admit to you that over the years, the last 3 or 4 years, I have watched our phone calls go down, not up, down. Okay, that just tells me that our donors and people out there are not communicating as much through telephones as I thought they were. It's going down. My emails have gone down. I don't know other people, but I'm saying my email, okay, people are not communicating. And it was very interesting to me that you started out this timepiece
Yep.
with Facebook. So you're already telling me that you made the decision of all the things that are out there to communicate with people with, you went straight to Facebook.
Mhm.
So I'm looking.
So
for
when you're
that
talking
kind of
social
reason
media.
why you chose
Yep,
here to start with all the other things that are out there
yep.
that we could choose, that we could lose time on, that we could not be as efficient as what you chose.
So we all know we're all on these, right? These are our phones.
A different way.
Different way, yeah. Social media is the language of this culture right now.
Right.
And that is why we choose that. It's not the only platform we use, but for this presentation, social media should start within the different platforms
Well, let me
of
say this
communication.
too.
Yeah.
My daughters who are on social media, they're in their teens, they say Facebook is old people's social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So who is our donor? It's everybody-
For us, it
it's
is.
everybody
Yeah.
45 and older, right? And so that's why it's important to be on Facebook, because this is how our generation still communicates. You know,
Yeah.
we're not doing X as much, and we're doing some of that, but man, when my kids even reinforce it, like, hey, that's your kind of social media, I know that's.
Now, to that point, you got to build a foundation. So if you're in this world of social, okay, Facebook is like the foundation. All the other elements are what been added on after.
Okay.
Okay, so this, to have a nice cohesive voice out in the community, you got to start here, because you don't want to get rid of your donor base, right? The ones that have been faithful for all those years. They might still be learning how to use one of these, but they know how to get on the Facebook. They might not be using it great, but they know how to see it. And so we want to start with that foundation, and then we want to add the elements of TikTok. And, you know, I even had this joke with my team. I'm like, I have no idea what to do on TikTok. I know that when I see some good ones, we probably should steal some of that. But that's about where I go with the extent of TikTok. But you add those on as layers, right? And I think that's, when you're talking the digital realm of communication, you have to start at the base, and you have to be able to be cohesive with all those other things that you add on. Your message should stay consistent. That's the key. It's like your branding should be consistent, your voice, whatever your message is, have it in a thread all through all those platforms. Let's see. So one of the things that is nice about when you boost, you can track your performance too in insights. If you do your boosts outside of doing the business meta suite, you don't have all that tailored information to be able to tap into. So now we get into some of the other blocks, right? So you got Reels. Reels are great. That's where everybody's at right now. I mean, we're just flipping through, we're just absorbing as many as we can, right? You want to make sure when you're creating your Reels, you want to stay in this kind of zone, 7 to 15 seconds. It's sad to say that that's where everybody's at as far as capture rate, but that's where they're at. It's nice when you do a reel, if you want to put in some informational block to keep them on that reel a little bit longer. They're going to read it, and then they're going to not swipe as fast. That helps to boost the viewability of your reel. Always use trending audio. Now, I'm not saying compromise. I'm saying within where we live, you know, our faith, get some of the stuff that's trending. Put it in there. People like it. It's relatable. They're going to like your reel. We got to use what we have out there, right? Hashtags, very important. Somehow dissect what you're about to put up there. Make sure you put the right hashtags in there. It spreads it out, and it allows us to get that traffic out there. Sometimes, I think Meta is one of these, where it'll actually give you a list of the hashtags that have the most visibility. Make sure you lean to those. You can tailor them a little bit, but you don't want to go rogue and just start using hashtags that don't make any sense or don't have any visibility at all out there.
So you're moving pretty fast.
Okay, sorry.
You're telling me you can capture a 15-second video on your phone and somehow you're uploading it to Facebook and then other people that you're already in your circle are watching your video?
Correct. So now with this business meta suite, you have the ability to create a post, boost it, have it pushed to Instagram, okay, but also portions of that post, if they're video, you can create the reel right within there. And it's a whole nother format within Facebook that allows you to use reels. Live action videos.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're just little segments, but they're
That's what ViewSpark used to do for us.
very, very similar to ViewSpark. Yeah, we had ViewSpark for a while, didn't we? Yeah.
So what we use that a lot too, and that's what influences for our younger generation is, because the team does a great job with it, but half the videos I don't get, like we just had an event that was a run, a glow run we have, and they got a guy running all over the city, and these little snippets of him jumping over benches, and people liked it. They were going to that. That's not for me, but they love those kind of reels, and that's
Well,
really
perfect
good.
example. So we used similar music to the Rocky theme, right? We weren't infringing on any copyright infringements. We used almost like a Rocky theme. The artist that did the runnings in the room, I won't point him out, but he went around and it was just fun. It's fun, it's engaging, it's quick, but it ties back to the branding. That's the key is, don't put something out there that leaves people wondering, what does this mean, or why am I looking at this? Make sure it always ties back and that your branding's being represented. If it's an event that you're trying to drive, make sure it tailors to that event. Like that was a merch. That was merch that was coming in, right? That we did that one? He was highlighting merch, or I think maybe it might have been the awards. We just got the awards in for that event. So he was running through and he's getting the awards. Anyway, yeah, it's going to tailor to most people, some people not.
And I remember a television station telling me about how many hundreds of thousands of people were on, and then the bottom line is we come to find out there was only a few dozen people watching his station.
Mhm.
And he thought, well, there's a whole bunch of people watching. How do you know people are watching?
So yeah, you get views on it. So you get reports and the analytics are there. They're tied in. So you're going to know which ones work better for you. Did that theme work good, or let's abandon that and move on.
Another indicator that you're being efficient with your time.
Correct.
Yeah, you just don't have a person out there going crazy, creating all this content.
And all those analytics are tied in here, and they're easy to track, and it's pretty user friendly.
It shows how many views and how many click-throughs and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Do you use reels on your advertising your store? I mean, is that,
We do use reels.
maybe where do you advertise your store?
So our branding is a little bit different. We have an agency that does our stores, and then we do campus stuff as well. But the agency does use reels for the store purpose, and it is
A
okay.
paid agency, someone
Yeah.
you're paying to
Yep.
create a reel for you?
Yep.
Let me talk about that just real quick,
Yeah.
because we decided a long time ago that we have two separate brandings that we're doing. We're branding our stores. They know that it's for the mission, but you're branding for shoppers and people that donate to your stores. That's completely separate than our ministry stuff that we're doing.
That's correct.
Where we're doing events and we're doing that. So we have a separate agency that just does those, so it is definitely separate from what we do from our campus side.
But to your point, reels are important, and they do work within the retail sector of our community. So reels are
Every once in
an
a while,
important
we'll
asset.
cross-brand, but not very often, and it's specifically, we do that on purpose because we want to have a separate thrift store theme from our ministry theme.
Yep.
So I would give the PowerPoint to the store managers and say, you create your content, and then I would come over and give it to the.
If you want to go that direction, we felt like that's the best way for us because it keeps that, separation of ministry versus retail. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, any other questions with the reels before we move on? You guys good? Okay. So, stories. Within that same area of tools, you can choose to create a story. When you do stories, they're only up there on your feed for 24 hours. So typically, stories are for behind the scenes. You want to invite your guests, your community, in for a sneak peek of something. So you'll use a story, and then after 24 hours, it's kind of flushed out of there. This I never do, but I do know Maggie loves these stickers. There's little things you can post on your stories and make them fun and animated and stuff like that. That just doesn't really lean into where I am, but they are fun, and they have their place.
Maggie, why do you use the sticker?
So with some stickers, it'll ask you if it's on somebody else's story, if you want to use the same sticker, and that gets more engagement to your profile.
There
And
you
it'll
go.
say they used your sticker from your story.
Yep.
So it starts, yeah.
So it's
I
pulling.
don't
It's
know what a sticker is.
so when you're creating a story, there's like little things that go ha ha or fun, like things, right? And it's iconic in nature. You put it onto the story. It might be floating here, it might be floating there. And to Maggie's point, what it does is it leverages that traffic. So someone else can choose to use that one on theirs, and you tie in the two together. So now you're getting a little bit more visibility, again, out into the community.
There's also interactive stickers too, where you can ask a question and they can reply. And if they do, that also boosts it out more. The more engagement
It's all about
you get,
boost.
it boosts it out. The
Yep.
algorithm likes that. So.
Restate what she said, so.
Okay, so that sticker, you said it's
There's a
interactive.
bunch of ones. There's interactive ones. You can add a location sticker, and they can see where you're at. You can add one where it's like, do you like this or not? Yes or no? And they
So
click on
I guess
that.
maybe I do like stickers.
There's
I
a
didn't know
lot.
there was all those layers of
There's a- yeah,
stickers.
it's a lot of
I thought it was literally just a little thing that sits up there and floats.
That can be
Yeah.
decorative, yeah.
But if that's true, and I believe it is true, it does leverage the viewability that you're getting on one, you're being able to utilize across the community now. Because if someone sees it, wants to share it, link to it, that's where you're increasing that traffic to the original post.
And some of it too, Maggie, is that we're trying to grab somebody's attention by putting that on there, right?
That's
the
another
big
thing. There's a bunch of aspects to it. Sometimes it's just visualizing.
Yeah,
Makes it
it's a little bit of the
fun
shock
to see.
treatment, right?
It adds an excitement, yeah.
Excitement, shock. This is very important when you're doing your stories. If you can collage your pictures, try to make it interesting, engaging. Definitely a good point to do when you're actually in the story realm. So that leads us to still Facebook, but Facebook Lives. We use a lot of these when we're doing graduations. We'll tend to record the graduation, and I did them in my previous life with Harley Davidson. We would invite people to the dealerships or to a specific bike event when we were hosting a bike, and we would say, the key is now they have the ability to schedule a live. Back then they didn't, but the key to this is you want to be able to use it for graduations, events, community outreaches. You want to be interactive, so you want it exciting, and you want to invite with these. It's live, so I would role play first. Think about it. Think about what you're going to say. Think about your approach. Think about how you're going to tie them back to this and make it exciting for them, right, the end user. And you want to be animated, you want to invite them, and you want to have a call to action. All these things are going to make it seem like, hey, I want to view this. I want to stay tuned in on what's going on, whether it's your graduations, whether it's leading up to an event you're doing. you want to get on there, and you can schedule in advance. What's cool about the scheduling in advance, and this is fairly new within the last year, you can actually allow your audience to schedule ahead and RSVP. So now you know, when I go live on this thing, I'm going to have this many people already waiting for me to be engaged with. Any questions?
Is that anywhere near your donate button during the live event to push them towards?
You can tie in a live with a donate now.
Okay.
You do have to have a boost feature built into it, but you can actually have them donate now,
So I'm thinking.
like a call to action.
You go, the banquets are pretty, I'm not gonna say the banquets are sealed, but you only can get donations from the people that are at the banquet. But if you use-
Whoever's tuning in, right, that's
If you use this tool,
exactly.
Now you just spread over to your whole audience for people that can't get there to donate if they see the banquet live.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And if you can't figure out how to get to that next step to be able to put the donate now, because you do have to go into the boost feature, boost it in order to get those features, right? The call now.
Usually with the post, with the live, I think you can like pin one
The
of your
li-
comments
the
with like
link?
a link. Yeah,
A link. That's how you're going to do it, with a link.
And they'll see that.
And it's going to drive you back to your pay portal, whatever your pay portal is, to donate now. Any questions about live? Are any of you guys using live now? It's good. It's really engaging. It's nice to do a mix.
Well, we went YouTube live and it was clunky.
Okay.
But
What was
during-
clunky about it?
During COVID, we had no choice
Okay.
because the people would not come out for the banquet.
Yeah.
So we had to use YouTube live and the donations went down drastically, so.
And that's kind of we had to do this type of thing, right? We didn't add it as an extra. It also could have been the feed. What part of it was clunky? Was it the software was clunky, or because the upload speed?
From a director's point of view, the
Yeah.
marketing, getting people, drive people to it.
Okay, because they don't have a lot of features within your YouTube to be able to engage.
Somebody's not already in that world,
Yeah.
they're not gonna see it.
They're not going to see it, exactly. I think they've come a long way, though. Within the last couple of years, there is more functionality within YouTube now.
Oh, they did thank COVID.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Yeah, their programmers probably.
YouTube though, is we did a 24-hour event,
Mhm.
and it's if you do a 24-hour event, make sure you're recording in the background if you want to keep your content, because
Yes.
after 12 hours, they dump that.
Mm.
It's only the live, they won't keep it on file.
Yeah, so we did a 24-hour live stream with the assumption that YouTube was going to post this, and it looked like everything was going fine. We literally had to get on the phone with YouTube and go, hey, why isn't this posted yet? We see it here, it exists. And they go, oh, well, after 12 hours, we don't back it up. I'm like, well, that would be nice to have somewhere on the platform that you know. But yes, that is crucial and critical when you're doing streaming. If you're doing up to 12 hours, make sure you have a source coming out and you're recording it off of YouTube so that you can upload it and make sure you have a backup file.
John, let me just talk about this
Yeah.
real quick too. That was a 24-hour social media event that we did. That was Conversations on a Bench, it was called. And I sat on a bench for 24 hours talking to people about homeless issues and really brought awareness in our community to that. But we did it a little bit nationwide. We have about 13 other rescue missions that did
Yep.
it as well. And let me just say, if you want to have a social media event, that was really impactful.
We got a lot of traction.
Yeah, and a lot of people were watching. I think we had, what was it, 8,000 views or
Yeah.
something, just that. during
3
the
different
time.
news networks came in because it's feel good, right? We all know that when we're doing our PSAs and we're putting stuff out there, they gravitate to those feel good
And
things.
it was the coldest day of the year.
It was way too cold, and it's too soon to talk about it for me. I'm still going through counseling.
But some of these social media things that you're doing, you stage them so you make sure that there is something that goes around. It doesn't always have to be a event that you've already got going
Nope.
on, you know, and we're gonna do this going forward, this 24-hour event, because it drove so many people to our website and so many people to watch this at the same time.
What was good in that way, and so when you do something of that nature with that type of impact, it's always good to do the pre-planning ahead of time and get some good questions and things out to the community. Hey, what would you like us to ask? What do you think about homelessness? What are we doing wrong? Pose these out as posts, right? Get some feedback. And then what we did is, and Kimsley's in the room here, and he gathered all that data, and we created a list of the conversational points